Hi, Carol here. A warm welcome to my craft room and to the LDRS Creative blog hop. I am thrilled to be a part of this blog hop, and all you have to do every day, like today, tomorrow, and Friday, is leave a comment over, and that's not hard to leave a comment because these are very talented creators. And if you are on my blog right now or YouTube channel, you just left my friend RALUCA. And RALUCA, I hope I pronounced your name right. Forgive me if I didn't. And then after me, the final person for day one is Rebecca. So you're going to really enjoy this new release. I'm telling you, they are beautiful. Now, I'm starting out with the Candy Bean Safari, and my card is 5x7 on this craft. I had this in my stash, and it's just open window 5x7 cards with envelopes. And all I could do was think of, when I was thinking about Safari, I was thinking also about the zoo. And you know, when you go into a zoo, you look through the windows and you can see the animals. And I wanted it to look like that. I did an open face shaker. That way you can see both sides and you can see into the second page of the card. That way you get to design it so that when you're looking straight on, you can see animals on the inside of the card, on the actual flap, you know, where you would generally put your sentiment. Now I'm going to raise this up. I'm going to cut these all in half so that I just have the window. I'm going to raise it up 4 high. And I need to do this because in this set, I made the focal point the monkeys, but I did add all the animals. Wait till you see these animals. They are so crazy cute. It was so much fun to design this. Now, I've designed it twice because I lost the first footage. Remember, I shared that with you. So this is my second time around with this card. But you know what? When you redo things, you always add little things that add to the elements of the creation that you're doing. And I can't wait. I want to use every one of these new release products. They're that fantastic. So it's called the Candy Bean Safari. Monkeys are going to be my main character. See him right there with the banana? And it's, these are really cutesy animals to color. I colored them with my Copics. I took out the smile die because you know I always love to leave a smile. So I put that on the back page, and then I'm going to emboss all the animals. But first I want to do the frame. This is going to be the top frame. There's a lot of elements, and I had to really push out, actually take off a lot of footage. It was 21 hours of work I've done on this card, and I cut it back down to 46 minutes. For me, you know that's something, isn't it? But I think I added every element that would make you see that this new release set is beautiful. So I went to an older release set. Everything will be on my blog, everything that I used to make this beautiful, I think it's beautiful card for you during this LDRS Creative Hop. And I ran it through on the craft. I think Craft on Craft looks absolutely wonderful. And the critters colored in with Copics, but I did put some on white, my 140-pound white cardstock as well. Now, I had this piece in my stash. It's watercolor paper, and I just took all of the die cuts and die cut it from out of here because they were a lot of the leaves, the smile. They had, this set had acorns, and you can see it to the right. I'm going to try to leave all of the elements to the right hand side of my mat, and yeah, just going in my stash and taking out as much as I could to make this look safari-ish. You know, like you've been out on a safari, you know, everything is browns and greens and beautiful fall hues. I think that making a card like this for a birthday or whatever, it's so crazy cute. So here I thought I have everything cut out. So I have my smile cut out in white, 4 of them in craft, and 1 of them with the craft paper that I designed later on in the video. I love the fact that you have the dies. I'm going a million miles an hour. And what I did after I cut them, I did, I think, 40 bananas. I stamped and I used the embossing powder, the LDRS Creative embossing powder in clear. And yeah, I just went around to kind of get the idea of what I wanted. Now I will list all of these wonderful hybrid inks. I took daubers, you know, all this stuff we need to use from our stash that we used to use, and I dabbed down color. I ran the beautiful hybrid ink right across, like ink to paper, and I'm just making kind of a background scene. Now I was going to do this so it looked like trees, you know, horizontal, but I ended up having to use it vertical because of the window in the frame, but it still looked good. My trees have just all fallen over. It still looks nice because it's covered with animals and you're really not going to notice it. And if I had a thought of it, I guess I could have made it going this way so the trees were dominant, but then I decided to make that as the inside portion, as you'll see later. Now, I did stamp and emboss with LDRS Creative embossing powder. You know I love it. And look at this little thing go. I'm die cutting all 40 of them. And then I have to color them, right? Yes, I love it. I love coloring, and I colored it with my Copics on the 140 weight paper, but you can use whatever paper you think looks good for your card. And I think I did mention, did I? I hope I did. It was 5 by 7 because that's the stash paper and envelopes that I had. So I took these gorgeous critters off the sheet and I put them down, and I'm going to gold emboss. I think gold looks wonderful. You know I like gold. I always add, whether you see it or you don't see it, I always add an element of gold in my cards. Whether I mention it, but if you look, you'll see that there is an element of gold. So now I'm just going to take the ink pad, the watermark ink, and that's Little Darling Rubber Stamp watermark. It's just like Versamark. I'm going to stamp it, and then I'm going to take gold embossing powder and heat set it, and then we're going to move on to some coloring. I didn't make the coloring the focal point for my video because it's a blog hop. And I think it's quite long, but we're all used to my long videos, right? Nothing new, but at least it's only over 45 minutes, right? It's not an hour. But I really loved making, this was like making 3 cards in one, using the same set, but all in one card like I usually do. Like I said, I moved on with the coloring. I showed some of it here because they're so cute. I mean, look at this lion. I have, I think, 6 colors I used. That's all I used in this. One of them I did fussy cut because I did that technique with the Copic solution and face cloth with the cotton little nubbies on it, and then I put it down onto the lion, and it looked like he had really nice fur. There they are. There, I'll put all that on my blog, what I used there. It's easier for me to stop the video, right, and mention it over on the blog with all of the information as well for the blog hop. And I really think you're going to love going through and checking out everybody's creations. This release, I couldn't take my eyes off of it. It's that gorgeous. And here I'm just doing my little zebra, and I made him a zebra. And you have that cutesy wootsy giraffe. I made 2 of each, and the lion. And then I used my white and gold Signo pen to fill in, but then I ended up using googly eyes, and also I used liquid black to make the enamel accents. I did some of that for their eyes as well. So there's a lot going on in this tutorial. So I left, you know, I just sped it up, but I wanted to show you the layers. I didn't do many. I only, like I said, used 5 markers to get this effect on the animals, and I used the googly eyes on some of them, like I said, and I used the black enamel accents to put some of the eyes on. And I thought I would leave this in the tutorial. And also I used the Pico embellisher, the Irresistible, and to give it the shine on some of the animals. I thought it would look really cute. And we're just going to go on, and I'm going to share the actual layout of the card with you after I get done this. There are 5 animals in this set, and you're just looking at it. Isn't that cute? I mean, baby showers, birthday, you can use this set for so many things. And if you didn't want to put the enamel black dots on the eyes, you could leave them gold. It would be nice just like that. And those tiny little googly eyes look cute as well. I did that little zebra you're looking at there with 1 black enamel dot, 1 googly eye, and it was so cute. So now I'm just going to take the Copic marker and add some little dots just to make the fur stand out in the face of the lion. And we're going to do, we're going to put them on foam so that I can emboss them and push out the faces and the features that I want to be more prominent and stand out in the animals. And I've done this on other tutorials that I'll leave in the link at the end so you can check it out. I'm going to die cut all of them but one of the lions. And yeah, they're really cute. And it's really close to the edge of the stamp, which is nice. So here I'm just going to take you through the coloring of this zebra. It is only 3 markers for this, so it's easy peasy. I think the gold makes it stand out so you don't have to worry about your coloring skills. You can just add a few colors. I think this was in the tea family of the grays, and you can see how quick and easy it is. And then I will take the die cuts, cut it out, and then we're going to place it on the card. And I did, like I said, do a clear double see-through acetate card so that when you open it up you can see the inside page, which would be normally where you put the sentiment. So that way you can see the animals from the acetate front. You have the shaker, which I used 3 different colors, 2 colors of beads, those little micro beads in there in the green, and yeah, it's quite a nice card. I think you're really going to like the end result. And don't forget that Rebecca is next when you put it down, and there's going to be some pretty cool gifts that are going to be given away. You just have to comment on everybody's blog, and that won't be hard because the designs are just wonderful. The release for Little Darling Rubber Stamp for May is out of this world. You're just going to love it. And the die cuts for making cards are beautiful. So here we go. I'm showing you the black enamel dots on the animals. I had some issues with that because, as always, my hand would get in the way and I'd end up, the eyes weren't dry yet. But at the end, it all turned out all right. I think this was one of them. You can see on the left, I had to take my white Signal pen and fix it up there. And now I'm going to figure out which ones I want to put the little tiny, these are, look at those. And you can see how one I used the die on the left and the one on the right I fussy cut. So after we emboss it and push out the paper cardstock, it's going to look nice. So I took out my craft mates, and here you're going to see these little googly eyes are micro. They are tiny. So you just press it and it protects it because it only opens up the end, so all the rest of them don't fall out if you have a mishap. And I take my pick stick, I take out 4 little eyes, I put them on the animals, and then we're going to move forward. It's it's a nice card to just do the front of the card. May I say that as well, just putting these animals down. There's something about little cartoonish style animals that are so nice for not only children, but I think I'd like to receive this. And it makes it more adultish, if I can say that, with the gold embossing powder. So, you know, I will certainly leave the colors that I did for all of them. And here I took a piece of cardboard and I put down the press and seal. I just had to check that out. I put press and seal over it. This way my die cuts, I didn't lose them. And I wanted to color all of those bananas, and I didn't want to fight with it on that slippery mat. So I thought the press and seal would be fantastic. Just turn it over. I also die cut the trees. I'm going to stamp over it so you can see the images. But I did a light yellow as far as the opening of the banana. And then you want to put a little brown line with a few little dots because bananas aren't just yellow. So that's what I'm doing here with gold yellow Copic, and I'm just adding one line, a few little dots, and then I'm going to do a darker yellow. See how it's that nice caramel color? So it stands out with the light yellow on the actual banana. And then I'm going to take a real dark yellow to make the skin. At the bottom of the skin, you know, you're going to add a little bit of brown and then some light and dark greens. Because or else you can do your bananas with brown marks. Brown dots all over them, like my bananas end up when they're sitting there. I end up having to make banana bread out of them. So you can make them, I thought I'd make mine looking fresh. And when you put the brown line on there and the dots, go over it again with the first yellow marker that you use, just so it doesn't stand out like a line. It just gives you a hint, like a shadow. See what I mean? That one animal got underneath my press and seal. It's probably the one with the black enamel eyes. I had to fight with that, but at the end I won. Yes, isn't this a gorgeous yellow? It really is. And then you have to figure out, I looked at it, and the banana part that you're going to eat, I colored it was the long end of the banana stamp. And here's the light green. I go over it, all of the skin with the light green. Then I go in with the brown and then the dark green. So the brown is on that little nub part of the banana at the bottom. And then I just make a little bit in the corners. There they are right there. But I will list them like I said. And there's the brown at the end so you could figure out which end was up. Which end of the banana you wanted to eat from. And then I'll add like a little green line coming out of the folds of the banana peel and make it look as realistic as I could for this style stamp. And boy, there it is there. Just a few little flicks inside with the dark green. And half it, I think it was about 15 of them, I actually put embossing powder on. The LDRS Creative embossing powder in the clear, so that I had some that were just the flat color and some that had the shine on them. So basically this is what I used for my bananas. The Y family, the YR24, the Gs, the YR11, the E37, the Y18, and you're pretty well set. But I will try and get those all listed for you and all the blog information as well. I think the fun part, yeah, I'm showing you how if you have that on a piece of cardboard, and I'm talking about the press and seal too, by the way. I stamped out the outline of the trees. I'm going to color it in with the Copics. I'm just going to scribble color, nothing fancy, because I'm going to clear emboss these trees, and then I'm going to have one that's plain. I kind of went with that theme to have some of it shiny and some of it matte. I think it adds to the safari look. And then we're going to, I think the fun part of this whole thing, besides the fact of getting all the cutouts done and this beautiful, beautiful set and safari zoo themed, that's really cute. So here I have the acetate on. It's 4 high. And I keep working. This is how I did the bananas. I took a piece of silver thread. It's so fine. And I put the thread down on my mat, and then I added the glue, 4 dots. Then I added a banana facing up, and then another banana over top, because the beauty of this, you don't have to do any image stamping because you just turn it around and they end up being perfect, like I always say. See how I turned it around? You could only do 3, and you want to really tighten this thread when you put it onto your double-sided tape. But I loved when you took the shaker, you shook it up, and the beads would hit the bananas and the bananas would spin. How cute is that? And then you have the monkeys, and then the animals all situated, the leaves, the acorns. There's so much going on in here. It's so cute. So when I put the thread down, I put double-sided tape over the thread. So I put it on the top, the double-sided tape. Then when I took it off, you pull the bottom and then secure it with double-sided tape. And then I put this on, the Scotch 3M. So this made it 4 high so that these little bananas could spin. But I'm going to show you what I did so it doesn't look awkward to have it that thick. But I did want these little bananas every time the beads hit them. I thought it was so cute. And you've got the monkeys hanging on to twine. Yeah, just a real cutesy wootsy card. And then because I'm using micro beads, see how it shakes there? I'm tapping on it. But I will show you once you get the beads in there. I'm going to add some of the powder around the edges so the beads don't stick. And some of the shaker elements were in gold, yellow, orange, and then I had this rickrack metallic, ancient ribbon. It's kind of like a gold metallic actually. And what I did was I put the glue down so you didn't see all of that Scotch double-sided tape. And then the rickrack, because it is like up, down, up, down, up, down, you just set the second line of rickrack inside, like just cup them together, and then you can't see through to the double-sided Scotch tape. And you can use anything. You could use thin ribbon. I just happened to have gold rickrack, and it was ancient, and I wanted to use it, and it really did add, because I did the gold. The animals were outlined in gold. So I took a piece of this cardstock that was in my stash, the one I cut the window out of, and I stamped this down with a little cube of the LDRS Creative hybrid ink. And this one is the Raven. And then I put embossing powder over everything I stamped. I put clear embossing powder. And now I'm just going to cut it out. You can see all of the elements. There were tons of them. That's what made this card so crazy cute, is by putting a lot of elements, you know. And really with the animals, I put 2 of each. So I just mixed them up in the mix. And the monkeys I did with my Copics. And that's the beauty of using Copics like this. I just tried to stay in the lines, because I did already die cut them, and I used a light, medium, and dark on them. And then some of them I put the Pico embellisher and to make it shine like some of the pieces parts. And you can see how his hand is kind of cupped, so it looks like it's grabbing a hold of something. So that's where I grabbed the twine, and I think you're gonna like what I did with that. It was really cute. They looked really nice. They were just hanging there, and the bananas were spinning, and the beads were rolling, and oh yeah, this was a fun card. And wait till you see all of this release. You are just going to be wowed when you see these dies and that. So here, this is my Wilton set. I've showed this in videos time past. If you don't have a stylus and you have this cake decorating set by Wilton, you just take it out, because these are stylists, you know. You used to use them for your roses. When I used to have a cake business, I used these quite a bit, and now I use them for cards. And look at that. I mean, that ball is so nice and big. It takes you 2 seconds, I'm going to zoom in and show you. I want these little heads and all the elements to be cupped right out so that when you seat it, excuse me, on your card, you're going to have that 3D look. They're going to look quite thick. And you're going to double up on your Scotch tape when you do this, but isn't this wonderful? I started out with that small end, but then I took them all, turned them around, and I pressed down into this foam with the large end here. At one point I change it up because one side is smaller than the other. And look at that. You have an instant 3D look just by pressing it into some foam that you have hanging around. And look at that. If you already put the googly eyes on there, make sure that you check that out because you don't want to knock them off when you're doing that. And the black enamel dots for sure when you're doing that. And doesn't that add a really nice element to just embed that paper? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think, little monkeys. My husband was singing that to our grandson. You know the one, 10 little monkeys jumping on the bed. One fell up and bumped his head. Mama called the doctor. You know that song, yeah. So we had to listen to that most of the day, which was so crazy cute. And that's what reminded me when I did this set. So yeah, see how I took the larger end and I went over it again, and it's with the Wilton cake set. Instant embossing. Now I put everything into this lid that I had to use my Pico embellisher as, it's like glossy accents, but it dries much quicker. And yeah, so I'm going over all the parts and using my pick to hold it down so I don't rub it into everything. And there we go, we're on our way. And what's really funny, something activated that Copic with this Pico embellisher and made that little mane down the front of the zebra pink. I thought that was hysterical. I had like a pink-haired zebra. So here we go, just add it to some of the spots on the giraffe, different spots of the monkey, you know. Some places I just do the underneath where his mouth was, some I did his eyes, some I did the tail, whatever you want. Just have some fun with this. Then I took the other half without taking a break in breathing here, and I grabbed my Martha Stewart punch that had the leaves, kind of branches, because I wanted to have this around the edge so it looked like grass, but I wanted to keep it in the craft. So I end up taking the LDRS Creative watermark, and I watermark these double with the clear embossing powder, and I make it super thick because this element you're going to be able to touch. It's going to be on the outside of the acetate. So I didn't want, you know, if you give it to a child, you don't want him picking at it or her picking at it. This way it's nice and thick, and you're not going to have any damage done to it because you've put the almost triple embossing powder down. I hope you've enjoyed it so far, and I can't wait until you hop on over to all of these wonderful creators. They really are beautiful design team members, and I just feel blessed to be a part of it. And see how I'm pouring it on, and when it's hot, and then I heat set it, and then I pour more on because I want this to be super thick because it's on the outside of the acetate. So you're going to be able to touch it here and there. I want to be able to have that firmness to put the animals down inside. So I did one side, and then this watermark ink, the LDRS Creative watermark ink, is so crazy juicy. You can see it. It sits up high, the pad on it. You're going to love it. I highly recommend everything over on Little Darling Rubber Stamp Creative. It's beauteous. So here we go. I did a close-up. I just made sure that I had the coffee filter down, and you wait just a second before you do touchy-feely on it because it will burn. And then I took this piece and I scattered my embossing powder just here and there, like up and down, up or across actually. I went across it, and some of it will be matte now, and some of it I didn't put, you know, I just drug the watermark pad across it on the edge. So, you know, I just had little areas to put the powder on. And then I took the last of the little bananas here that I wanted to have with the embossing on it. Yeah, and then I thought to myself, I'm not throwing out this embossed black cardstock. I had some of the gold embossing on it, the powder that had set on there, and then I'm just picking them out and putting them down on my mat so that I can heat set them. And so what I did was I heat set this after I put the remainder of the powder into my jar. I took the heat tool, and you know what I did? You see on the brown on the far right and the upper, I made houses, like buildings. I'm going to do a building scene on another card. So I waste not, want not. I did not waste any of the supplies. And then after I made my buildings that you see on the upper side where my light is shining down through on my glass mat, I took my heart punch and I just punched out some hearts. Now there it is, there's my buildings. Isn't that crazy? And it looks like clouds are going across the buildings because of having no embossing powder there. So here on my glass mat, I am getting situated for the design portion of this. I have my base. I had these window envelopes and cardstock. So, oh yes, my Create a Station, this 5-inch. I'm just showing you, it has the magnet and it has all these yumminess, but I'm showing you this because make sure when you buy the refills, you buy the pink and blue box, not the other ones. Yeah, so that's why I was showing you that. Now, here it is. I am going to cut them down so that they are even. So when they go all the way around, I know where to cut them. Even though it's not going to be shown, I like to have it even. You know, it's something like about me. I had to make my cardstock now. So you want to add another inch. See how I have an inch there? And I'm going to score it 3 times, I think. So you're going to score it a little bit over. This is what's going to make the gusset to fold around your card base, because you have to open the card, right? So this is my 140 pound. Then I put another piece of 140 pound and then the craft cardstock, because if my front is going to be thick, so when you open it is the inside going to be heavy. Excuse me. It's going to be thick and heavy. So you just have to measure the leg, you know, up and down to make sure it's even. Then add an inch and then score it 3 times to get that accordion fold over top. I put the indented part on the outside, and I put the bumpy, like the actual raised emboss on the inside of the card. So when you open it, look pretty to see it. And there's my new Fiskars scissors. It's called Mixed Media scissors. These are the ones I got a few weeks ago at Michael's, and yeah, they really work well because you're only working your thumb. So here we go. I needed to make the inside portion, right? So I'm making sure I put down all of, because it's long, I had to make sure I scored it because I used my little score board. And now I'm putting the double-sided tape on it. I'm going to rest it on my 4 high shaker card with the window on each side. So I put acetate on the outside and I put a piece of acetate on it after I built it up 4 times. So you have 2, you know, you need that inside portion with the beads and the bananas and all that shaky going on. I love the way these little pieces parts make the bananas turn. So here we go. I'm just running it through. So this is quick and easy. Easy peasy, that's what you want. Getting up on my chair, and then I'm going to seat that. So on this fold, I have the white 140 pound cardstock. I have another piece of 140 pound cardstock. Then I put that craft. So it's 3 layers as far as heaviness. Then I will put double-sided tape on the green piece. This is what you're going to see through the front page of the acetate, right? It's going to look like you're looking through a glass twice. Yeah, I love this. So you just stick that down. I didn't put any lift on it because we have the gusset. And you want to make sure that because we're adding those beautiful animals that we deeply embossed on our mat so that they were 3D, we're going to have those on the inside. So you really do, you could make 4 score marks and it would be perfect. Just, you know, 4 score marks across, 1 line and 4 of them. And there you go, you're going to put another frame. Take your bone folder and go across your paper, and this will come right off, and easy peasy, all is well. Then peel them off, and this is what I did on the back side of the card. I put just the craft cardstock. So now I have the front, the back, and everything situated for me to start decorating. And here we go, this is the fun part. So I put the twigs all the way around the cardstock as you see here. Then I'm going to put another frame from off my stash. And you could make this frame yourself. I just happen to have it on the craft cardstock. And you're going to seat it there. The beads are inside. You have this background of the safari outdoors that you can see through the acetate. I mean, isn't this sweet? And then the monkeys, they're all like 3D. Then I took some of this string that I had in my stash, and they've got to be hanging from something, right? And I put the bananas kind of all over, decorated it, so it looked, you know, really outdoorsy. There's my gold leaf. I end up putting 3 gold leaves throughout here, kind of like one of those search puzzles where you search for the gold leaf. And yeah, so I'm just really happy with it. I love the fact that we took the animals and we actually pressed into the cardstock to make them look 3D. And then I followed the string right across, like right across the page. I didn't cut it and start again. I wanted it to look like it was kind of like a flowing scene. And yeah, I think just put some glue. This Nouveau glue is transparent, so you're not going to have any problem with the drying. I used my micro brush, and yeah, I set some bananas here and there because my sentiment on the back says smile, but there's one that's going on the front that and one going on the back. So here's my little giraffe. I end up putting that, I thought it was a nice, I have to double up, by the way. I'm just going to mention that because we made it so 3D, you know, by pressing into it with our stylus. So here I didn't put the clip. There's my other gold leaf. And then there's only one more to find. Yeah, I didn't want to put another animal. I thought just using the one would be great. And I took my T-square just to make sure the smile was going straight across. And I think that's, I'm going to go with that so the white shines through the bottom. And then I'm going to use some of those hearts and a sentiment, and it's just like fantastic. I can't believe that we're almost finished here. I just have to lift up the head to put these other, it ends up 1, 2, 3, 4 layers high. So 1 white, 2 craft, 3 craft, excuse me, and the outside one was from that cardstock that I made. I just pounced a few colors of the green and the brown in it, and you'll see that on top. So here's another piece of craft, and then the final piece of craft has a pattern in it, like the outdoors. And then we're going to put this sentiment that says, let me see, I know the outside that says let's go bananas, and then on the back, hang in there. That's what it is. And so I just picked it up with my stamp press on the back. It was easy peasy. And now I'm going to actually staple twine so that you can close it, because it has so many elements. It just popped up. I could have had an extra line in it to make it thicker, but it was fine. I stapled some twine on the front and the back, so we have a tie. I love making that Let's Go Bananas look like a sign. I just took a marker, and here I'm just, yeah, there's my twine that I stapled. To cover the staple, I put one of those hearts, and we're just about finished. Thank you so much for hopping along on this blog hop. Um, Little Darling Rubber Stamp Creative is wonderful supplies to check out. I'll have everything over on my blog, all the winnings, and I know everybody would love to hear from you. And then you have a chance every day to have a $25 gift card possibly, and other things going on, other prizes. Just check it out. And here is Hang In There. I put the in on the bottom. I'm going to put some clear embossing powder on that and put 3 hearts, 2 of them flat and 1 of them raised up. And then we're going to call it a Beautiful Safari card. And that is from the new release from Little Darling Rubber Stamps. I appreciate you joining. I appreciate you subscribing and leaving comments for the blog hop. And Rebecca, she's next, so you can hop on over and check out some more of the release products. And hang in there, yeah. Isn't this cute? And this third one is raised up. Now I'm just going to show you the finished product as we close down the hop. Thank you so much, everybody, for checking out everybody and the new release for May. And I'm just going to slow it down in a second and show you the front, all of the animals, 3D, the trees, the twine. I think it looks very safari-ish. The smile hanging there, and these elements of the new release. I'm just going to tie the twine up to show you. It just takes a quick knot because the twine comes apart easily. You don't have to put a bow, and I think a knot looks better when you're going with the safari theme anyway. And there you have it. So I'm going to go over and check everybody out on the blog, all their wonderful design team creations. And thank you so much. Here's the set, the candy bean Let's Go Bananas here. And isn't that cute? Enjoy the pictures, and I will see you tomorrow on the next project. Take care, everybody. Have a blessed week.